All right, great wine, man. Always fun. It's your shot. Let's kill it.
All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, so we have a white wine here. The wine is a gold, day bright, no evidence of gas or sediment. The wine has a medium viscosity, and there's really no core variation with this. Moving on to the nose. The wine is sound, youthful. Um, I have ripe characteristics of pear, yellow pear, ripe yellow apple, a little bit of like a burnt, like a toasted lemon, kind of like a lemon pinwheel, toasted lemon pinwheel. Definitely getting a little bit of like kind of a nutmeg, vanilla characteristic to the wine, potentially a little bit of oak use with this wine. Um, yeah, everything about the wine is kind of a ripe, almost like overly ripe characteristic with the fruit character. Um, yeah, a little bit of like brulee, buttery characteristic to the wine. Not getting a ton of earth with this wine. A little bit of like wet leaf characteristic to this. A little bit of like wet stone characteristic, but kind of clean, not as much like decay per se, but moving into the palate, kind of like a ripe apricot, but moving into the palate here. The wine is dry. Um, the wine is dry. The wine has a medium acid. Medium plus body. High alcohol. Medium finish, medium plus complexity. Definitely getting all those ripe yellow fruit characteristics on the palate. This wine has ripe yellow apple, ripe yellow pear, kind of like a bruised ripe peach characteristic, or like a baked peach, or kind of nectarine tart. You have a little bit of like this kind of like pastry brioche, kind of buttery characteristic to the wine. I do get definitely a little bit of like kind of cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla. I think that this wine does have a little bit of oak use with it. Pretty warm on the palate. I can definitely feel it in my throat here with this, the alcohol in this wine. This is kind of the little bit of that earth characteristic, but I wouldn't say earth is a it's mainly a little more riper fruit and a little bit of that toastier oak characteristic, or kind of the prevalent characteristics with this wine. That's leading me more towards the New World with this wine. I'm thinking possible countries, or possible grape varietals, definitely Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon blend, or Viognier with this wine. But I think that this is a New World wine. I think potential countries, so the United States, potentially Chile or Australia. But I think that this is a American Chardonnay coming from California. I think that this is a that sees a little bit of oak. I think that this is a Russian River Valley Chardonnay, 2017. Yeah, 2017 Russian River Valley Chardonnay.
Pen drop. There we go, baby. Loved it. I think all your calls are spot on. Just stepping back from what you're tasting overall, what do you think of the wine?
I think it's nice. I mean, I think I don't generally. I mean, it sounds trite, but a lot of people like, especially Psalms. I don't like American Chardonnay, which can be true, but there's some that are really amazing and really beautiful. So I think that's
Yeah,
kind of a cop out. So I think this is a really nicely balanced wine. I think it definitely has a little toasty oak, but it has a little acidity to it. It has an interesting fruit characteristic, which is refreshing and interesting at the same time. So yeah, I think it's nice.
yeah, I think it's a good one too. I think to your point of like, you know, people kind of hating on Chardonnay. I think this is good. I think, for me, I think that I would like to have this maybe with some food to kind of help balance out some of those a little bit more toasty qualities. You call it butter. You call, let me see here. What else did I write down? You call kind of like that butter. One call I love that you call is that brulee because I think that not only goes into like the nose, the palate. I think it describes the oak character. I think it describes the fruit character. I think it describes just so many things. I thought that was an awesome call.
Kind of the texture too, and I don't know if I really elaborated on that, but there's potentially some mallow here too because it has like the acid is definitely, it's got acid, but it's soft, and so I think
Yeah,
that's kind of potentially some of that or oak use, but that's mellow. That's the whole point of mellowing out those harsh acids is maybe a little malactic conversion or a little bit of oak use, and that's toning down that acid structure, right?
yeah, it's definitely tempered out, no doubt about it. So, well, big drum roll, Aaron. This is uh, Ferrari Carano Chardonnay, and this is actually from Sonoma 2018.
Um,
Yeah,
nice.
but great call all the way around. So talking about kind of pairing this with
Finally got one, kind of.
what? Yeah, now you nailed it, dude. Um, what would you pair this wine with?
I think, like you were saying, I think some food is great with this. I think what's cool about this is this wine has a lot of rich flavors going on with it. So some grilled shrimp would be fantastic with this, or roasted shrimp with butter. But I think also like a little richer fish, like some salmon, I think would be really nice with
Yeah,
this. You could do a roasted chicken, I think would be really cool also. So there's a lot, if you do roasted chicken with some good herbs, or something like that, I think would be really cool. So yeah, you could do a, a rich kind of cream sauce pasta. So there's a lot of options with this. Just that you definitely you can't have anything too delicate, just because this wine is it's pretty rich. So you want to have,
definitely.
even though the fish might be a little delicate, like I always think of salmon as a little oilier fish, and so that has a little more body to it. So
Yeah, definitely. You can kind of that can kind of cut through some of the richness you're getting in the wine, no doubt. But um, overall, man. So kind of like dissecting your actual tasting. So you called at exactly 5 minutes. Great timeline. Uh, we're going to the new world, so we're talking about different things. I love the Chardonnay call. Obviously, you nailed it. Sauvignon Blanc Sauvignon blend, I think, is actually a really interesting call because for people who maybe haven't had that, when that wine is being produced in America, you're still going to potentially get some of that oak profile. So I think that makes sense. Throwing that Sauvignon in there is then going to give you that body. So I think that's a great potential grape varietal here or blend. And Viognier, man, I think even the Viognier makes total sense here, right? It's rich. The aromatics you're getting, you're butting into some of those tropical fruits as well, into some of that peach, apricot kind of vibe. Um, so yeah, man, I think overall, I mean, it just made sense. Your calls made sense at every single point. So great tasting for sure.
thank you. I think something just to add to that too, just on that note though, because this is definitely an area where I've struggled and continue to struggle sometimes, is putting that theory into place, what you were talking about. So, between these two wines, there was definitely a wine that has oak on it, and there's definitely a wine that does not have oak on it. And So that within itself splits you automatically and should help you split your varietals in two different
Absolutely.
categories, oaked varietals, unoaked varietals. And so, um, once you're in that oak category, okay, if it's Sauvignon Blanc, then it's got to be either white Bordeaux from France, or it's going to be, maybe Napa Valley or Sonoma Sauvignon Blanc. New Zealand is out of the game with that one. Sancerre is out of the game, and same thing. And then, thinking about your Chardonnay. Okay, well, if it's oak Chardonnay, then Chablis, unless it's Grand Cru or Cru level, then it's probably out of there. So just kind of applying that theory, I think, is really important. And then thinking about, just like with the non-oaked wines, and if it's highly aromatic, well, where does that split you? And so applying that, because I think in the past I've just kind of thought a lot about the structure and what I'm tasting and the flavor profile, but not thinking about how that structure really applies to the wine production or to the innate properties of a particular grape varietal. So
For
it's
sure.
definitely important to kind of zero in on that, because that's somewhere where I've failed a lot in the past and
Definitely.
continue to do sometimes.
Well, great, man. Overall, super cool tasting. I think, again, I mean, we talk about it all the time. And, Aaron and I, for a while, we would blind taste one red, one white, one red, one white. And I think, where we've changed our tasting is we've gone to putting two wines of the same color side by side. And it really allows, just like Aaron said, for us to get the opportunity to, okay, now that I'm smelling this against something, am I smelling oak? Am I not smelling oak? What's the color differential? What's the differential in viscosity, so on and so forth. And, it's really, I think, taken, both of our tasting games kind of to that next level, because it's really starting for us to be able to identify certain things within certain grapes, kind of like our personal markers outside of the markers of what should be there. And I think it's just a really cool practice. So big cheers to that. And we'll do it again soon, brother. Cheers.